Let's go fishing with Compleat Angler.
If there's one thing I love doing, it's catching trout in those little mountain streams. And the beauty of Victoria is it's literally right on your doorstep here in the eastern suburbs. But what do we need to do? How do we catch these little buggers?
So the first thing you're going to need is a graphite rod. Graphite rod, they're lighter, they're crisper, they're faster, they're going to present that lure where you need it to be to get a bite from a hungry trout. This is a 2000 size spin reel. Spin reels are the obvious choice for this scenario because you're presenting lures that are quite light. So the spin reel that's nice and lightweight, it's very smooth. You want to feel that lure swimming, not the gears of the reel. And then for line choices, if you're a traditional mono fisherman, your best bet is a fluorocarbon line. So fluorocarbon line gives you that advantage of your traditional mono, gives you that added stretch, but it's also, its clarity is much better. So basically the fish won't see this. Most guys, however, will opt for a braided line leader setup. So obviously with your braided line, near zero stretch, you can really get that lure to kick and dart the way you want it to. Gives you all that feedback, lets you tell when a fish is nudging that lure when you get a bite. Of course, with a lot of braids being high vis, you do want to run a fluorocarbon leader. Fluorocarbon, the same as if you were to spool it with a straight through style of line, has that UV index almost the same as water, so it's virtually invisible to the fish.
Let's get straight into lures. Let's get into the good part.
Trout lure, it's a nice slim profile. It's very easy for the fish to eat. The main thing we're looking at as well is the shape of the bib. So that's critical when picking a lure for stream trout where you're fishing flowing water. So every lure has its own scenario. You might get to a stream that's 2 feet deep. Of course, you're going to pick the shallow running lure. If you get to a nice big hole that's deep, it's dark, it's less flow, that's probably the option for you. It's got that wider bib. It's going to really dive down. It's going to crash dive vertically, get down where the fish are, and you can hold it there in that slower current and wait for the fish to bite it. Versatility is key with this sort of fishing. You want to carry lots of different lures for each scenario, but of course cutting and retying and mucking around and in the wind and maybe in the dark if it's low light.
You want to do it quick. You want to get.
You want it to be nice and easy, so that's where these small quick change rolling clips are ideal. You're simply twisting that lure on, that's done.
Yeah, that's easy, isn't it?
If you want to change colour, change running depth, change whatever you need, you unroll that lure, Bob's your uncle. We've got a few out of the box here that are still really good, but maybe not for as many scenarios. So we've got small lures like this that might imitate a trout egg or something similar during, close to spawn season.
Yeah.
So that's going to trigger to that primal urge in the fish. You've got small surface lures. So this in particular is a small cicada style lure, like a surface crawler. Really good for summer months when there's moths, there's cicadas, there's beetles, there's all sorts on the surface. And touching on plastics, they're another one that a lot of people don't seem to think work well on trout. They work superbly on trout. You might buy a soft plastic like this particular one that's a really buggy, shrimpy, not sure what it is in the water, but the trout see that.
Creepy crawly.
They're all over it. That's them. So another one that's really popular for trout fishing, and this appeals, if you're a guy that does like your bladed spinner, the simplistic method of just winding that lure, this is your plastic. So this particular one is a scrub worm imitation. You put that in front of a hungry trout, drift it down, then when that trout grabs it, that little guard pops out,
and he's on. Do you know
that's
what?
Your trout.
I've fished a scrub worm as a kid. I've never seen a rubber one like that. It's absolutely
dynamite.
Brilliant. This is the beauty of dropping into the Compleat Angler. Not only do you get an excuse to get more lures, you get that little bit of information, that little critical bit that will help you catch more trout.
Let's go fishing with Compleat Angler.